Texas governor is a cowardly, fake bully. He was ordered by Donald Trump to convene a special session of the legislature in order to gerrymander the Texas congressional map and try to rig the midterm elections.
We have some of the best fighters that you can find right there in the state of Texas.
Well, we're actually fighting the fight by leaving the state.
Are you prepared to be arrested?
Sure, we are.
We really didn't have a choice.
So they're leaving, and they've left because they're very un-Texan. Texans don't run from a fight.
Okay, that was the Democrats claiming they will plant a flag on this fight in Texas, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott saying basically bring it on. This is the Democrats' new front against President Trump. Let's welcome to the show with his debut on the Evening Edit. We're excited to talk to the founder of OutKick, Clay Travis. Clay, it's so great to see you. So what do you make of this? But the hypocrisy, Clay, Democrats were happy and okay with letting tens of millions of illegal aliens break U.S. law and cross illegally to keep Democrats in power. They then get counted in the U.S. Census, meaning more House seats, more Electoral College votes for blue Democrat states.
Not only that, they ran, many of them did, to Illinois, which has one of the most gerrymandered state congressional districts anywhere in the country. They had 45% roughly of people in Illinois voted for President Trump in 2024. Democrats have a 14-3 congressional seat advantage because of the aggressive gerrymandering that's already taken place there. And the reality is, even in the New York Times, if you look at who has the gerrymander advantage, in 2024, it was Democrats, because Republicans won the national popular vote by more than they won the overall congressional House majority by. So the panic and the fear and the attempt to label this as some sort of unacceptable behavior by the Republicans in Texas is just not supported by the data. And certainly, you can't run and hide when the legislature wants to be in session and try to pass laws. These people are being paid by the constituents of the state of Texas, their Texas tax dollars, to do a job, and you can't flee the state to avoid the voting taking place. I think this is the right move by Greg Abbott, and I think it's going to blow up, and already has, in Democrat Party faces.
Okay, so there's that fight, right? So now let's move on to this. Clay, would love to get your reaction to CNN's Harry Enton, plus CNN legal analyst Jim Schultz and Stephen A. Smith ridiculing Kamala Harris's claim she suddenly doesn't want to return to politics because the system is broken after she spent $1.5 billion but still lost in a landslide to Trump last year. This is about who is leading the Democrat Party. It's leaderless. Watch this.
Yes, she has left open the idea that maybe she could run in 2028 for the Democratic nomination. But I'll tell you, Abby, I've looked at those numbers. She would be the weakest front runner since 1992. So the bottom line is this. She's looking at the numbers. She knows what's cooking. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Actually, this lifelong politician, I want to be outside the system. Give me a break.
Maybe she should have plugged in at the border when she was vice president, right? That's what was broken. The numbers that came out today were staggering in terms of the border issues are gone. 90% difference from when the Biden administration was in there. That falls at her feet. What was broken was our country and our border as a direct result of what she was charged with protecting.
Because I hope y'all don't think for 1 second that she's got a chance to win in 2028. She doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. There is no way America will pick Kamala as the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States in 2028. It won't happen.
So, Clay, you make an important point. Kamala Harris lost about 90% of all U.S. counties, all the swing states she lost, the popular vote, the Electoral College vote. But you're saying that the action right now is the congressional redistricting of the maps there and how that affects the power in Congress.
Yeah, look, I think what happens in Texas matters. The House is the biggest battle next year. I actually disagree with Stephen A. Smith here, because I think you have to look a little bit further. Who do we think is going to run for president in 2028? There's going to be a lot of governors, and a lot of them are white. Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Andy Beshear, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, among others, are all going to run. Maybe AOC runs. Maybe Cory Booker runs. But are they a stronger minority candidate than Kamala Harris if, and this is big, if South Carolina is the first Democrat primary state, I think whoever James Clyburn says to support is going to win that state. And whoever wins that state will become automatically a big favorite. I'm not sure that Kamala Harris is as far outside of the running as Stephen A. Smith and some of those guys on CNN were saying. I think she's going to try to go under the radar a little bit, hide. Look, she's been a public employee her whole life. It's ridiculous for her to claim the system is broken, but then stick her head back up like a groundhog does in February and see whether or not winter might be over for the Democrat Party, and then she launches in 27. That's my prediction for what she tries to do.
Well, that was really interesting, Clay Travis. You knocked it out of the park. Really interesting conversation there. It's good to see you. Come back soon. We love having you on the show.